Welcome to Harry Potter and the Anxious Millennials, a show where we delve week by week into each chapter of the Harry Potter series.
We're here. We have arrived. It is the final one.
We're here, and we obviously want to start out this episode by saying congratulations to Cheryl Lee Ralph for winning an Emmy for Abbott Elementary.
That's where we need to start.
That's where we need to start. Congratulations to her.
Yeah. Legendary.
Legend. Yes, we are finally here. We finally made it. It is the end of Goblet of Fire. I still maintain that book 2 was the heart, like the one where I was like, this book is not continuing.
I agree. So this one, I think it's just overwhelming because of when you just keep looking at how many chapters are left, but not in the sense of like, obviously not when you're reading it yourself. Like, I feel like this book is actually pretty well paced overall.
Yeah, it's really well spaced in terms of everything that happens. It's definitely been hard for the two of us since we do chapter by chapter, and the last like 4 chapters have been like very long.
Yes, that's what I was referring to.
But like, you know what? That's the norm heading into the future. So we're just going to get ready for the rest of the chapters in this series.
That's the gig, girl. I'm really interested to see how we feel about book 5. Like, is book 5 going to feel?
Yeah.
Because that's the longest one.
And book 5 is the beginning of the ones where I have not reread them since I read them the first time. So
I did not know that. Oh wow. We're gonna have a ball.
Yeah, 1 through 4 are the only ones I had ever like reread.
Well, then what am I talking about? RJ, you're uninvited. No, just kidding. We can invite I do kind of like RJ. Can RJ like special guests though? Actually, like I just want him to come on because he knows nothing about it, right?
I thought of a fun idea of he's not on for the full episode, but he has like a moment on each episode where he's like, here's what I thought.
yeah. RJ's notes right at the beginning. I'll be like, RJ, what happens in this chapter? And he can say it maybe.
RJ has to summarize what happens in the chapter.
Is he typically there if you're listening to it? Or I guess you read it a lot of the time too, though.
I read it, yeah.
Okay. He can listen to it if he wants.
But the next one hasn't come out yet. The next illustrated copy. I still have my hardbacks.
Yeah, right.
October 11th, 2022. So in like a few weeks.
Yeah. A month, like
I can
a little
pre-order
over a month. Ooh. Oh, so exciting. Wow. Well, I'm glad you checked because I have no idea what the illustrated copies deal is.
Great. So I'll be ordering that. So we can't do a new book until I have the illustration.
Yeah, obviously.
That's only for Order of the Phoenix because we're not going to go on like a 2-year hiatus just for Half-Blood Prince.
Just kidding.
You say that now.
You never know. No, I mean, I think it's like a couple hours an evening. Like we can make it work. This week we read chapter 37, the end of the book. And this chapter is called The Beginning. So we see what you did there. Joe, we see what you did there. Adam, please tell us what happens in this chapter. We're dying to know.
They go home. There is a remembrance of Cedric, and then they go home.
Great.
And we find out a couple other things that we already have discussed on this pod, but
we already know.
We officially find them out in the text.
Yeah. Which is, do you know what? Well, I guess I'll wait till we get it, but I was kind of like, this is a little too last minute for me in a way. Did you feel that way?
That's what I was saying. Is like she had to wrap up. Yeah.
Yes. It's like almost afterthought.
I almost wanted, because Cedric's death is so it's the page turns into a new era of where the series goes.
Right.
I almost wanted the book to end with like Dumbledore's monologue.
Yeah.
And then that's it.
Yeah. Which, of course, it never does. She always has them go on the Hogwarts Express, which, like, fine.
Hogwarts
but
Express.
I don't know if we need it every time. I guess in the
there
next
were some
one,
great
I don't
parts
think
of this
it
chapter.
happens.
I will be reading some excerpts today because
Love it.
there's some wonderful dialogue.
Can't wait. Thrilled.
So the chapter starts out and Harry, it's kind of written weird, the first line. It says, like, over the next month, Harry could barely recall what he did over the following few days.
Yeah.
And I was like, are you saying, I think it's just saying as time passed, Harry, like, barely understood how he got through it.
Trauma response.
But the way it was written, I was like, is she saying it's now like the end of July? Because it's the end of June when the third task happens.
Yeah.
So I was saying, like, are they still at school? But I think because Harry's birthday is famously July 31st.
Right.
I think what it really is she's like just trying to do like a thing about his memory in the future, but we're not talking about that yet. I don't know. It's very strange. Because I don't think it's the end of July.
It's weird.
He's always at home for his birthday.
It is very strangely worded that, I thought it was like all this time has passed. I didn't realize it was June. Like the last, I like forgot when it was. So I was like, oh, a month has passed.
It was like June 24th, I think, or something like that. When the third task was.
That is so late. June 24th? These kids are still. I'm sorry. When is the summer? What is their? Give them a summer break. What?
Girl.
Can you imagine if we were still in school by June 24th? We would be losing our minds. It was like May 31st hit, and we had to be released because we were all crazy.
Right.
Summer fever took over.
I remember a big thing when we were in school was South Bend Community School Corporation, SBCSC.
SBCSC?
She did not like to give snow days.
Oh, no.
Snow days were not her gig. We did get them, I think, probably once a year, but it wasn't like every time it snowed. It was just like the one time it snowed a lot, or it was like so cold that like people standing outside would get frostbite.
Oh, yeah.
Those were like the only times we would like.
Even when the roads were not plowed, you still were expected to be at school at 7:45.
Right. But there were other school districts in the area, like I think Niles, anytime it like there was like a snowflake.
It was like,
they were like, oh, school's canceled. So then but then they would have to be in school. You got to make up those days. That's what they don't tell you.
Yeah, that's true.
Children, that's what they don't tell you.
Yeah, you have to make up a day.
Unless you have a really intelligent planner in your school district who plans makeup days during your session so that if you have to make up days, it happens so that it doesn't extend out your
that's nice. Yeah.
Because when Diana, my sister, when they lived in Virginia, obviously Virginia, if there's a bit of cold, they're closing the schools because they don't have snowplows. They don't have them.
Yeah.
They're not there. They don't exist.
Oh, wow.
So they would like build days into the year. So I think it was like they would do like they would plan for like Fridays to be half days unless they had days to make up, and then they would make every Friday like a full day or something like that. I don't know how exactly it worked, but
okay.
It was something like that.
Yeah.
So that by the end of the year they only had like I think an extra day to make up instead of like the 12 days they had no school.
Yeah. Wow.
This is not interesting, and we need to talk about the book.
Yeah, we do. Yes.
So Harry meets the Diggorys. And I almost wondered why. I think in like
Amos like didn't even say anything. He was just like dead silent.
No.
It made me so sad.
Yeah, Amos is like weeping, and Mrs. Diggory is like past the point of tears. Like she can't even. She's in so much grief. She has nothing to.
She's a husk.
Emit anymore.
Yeah.
So I just thought it was weird that I was like, he's still just like a 14-year-old, and there's no way that the Diggorys were like, we have to talk to Harry. And like, I don't think Harry would get enough sway to be like, I have to speak to the Diggorys.
He just is it basically just to tell them what happened, like from his perspective?
Yeah, but who set this up? Who was like, Harry needs to tell his story to
I don't know.
Nobody can be the go-between?
Yeah.
I don't think it has to be him. I don't think we have to put this boy through more trauma. He doesn't have to be the doctor going to the waiting room being like, your husband died on the operating table. Like, we don't need to make this 14-year-old do
Harry
that.
sat up in his hospital bed and like first thing he said to Poppy, he was like, bring the Diggorys to me.
Bring me the Diggorys.
Bring me the Diggorys. Pronto.
Fine. So he offers Mrs. Diggory the gold. She doesn't take it. She refuses it. Which is a very sweet gesture. I think we have commented many times on Harry's lack of understanding of his own privilege.
Yeah.
But I think in this chapter, what he tries to do with the gold is very like wholesome.
He's a very good kid.
He's gotten it.
Good kid, Harry.
It took him watching someone die to really understand.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Things. So Dumbledore, we find out that Dumbledore told the school apparently not to bother Harry. This was like at some point after the events, he was like,
yeah, you imagine at breakfast. Ding ding ding.
Bing. It's just like a mic. Is this hello? Testing? Is this on? Just want to say, or there's like a PA over the whole school, not even at breakfast, exactly. Just like in all the classes.
Excuse me. Good morning. Morning announcements. We will begin with no one is to bother Harry Potter. Thank you. It's also the weather is forecasted for 68 degrees. No running in the corridors. Filch says that you guys can't flood that bathroom anymore. Thanks.
Thanks.
Ding,
ding. It's a thing from Greece when she does the like
bing, bing, bing. Yeah. Great. Me, I would be that. It'd be a Hufflepuff for sure making those morning announcements.
It's 100% Professor Sprout is making morning announcements.
Okay, sure.
Without question.
Pepperoni time in the morning.
Yeah.
Pepperoni.
So because of this announcement by Dumbledore.
I was just thinking like pepperoni pep talks and stuff like that. And then I was like, I need to stop.
Oh,
pepperoni pep rallies. Pepperoni talk time.
Prosciutto Sprout. Students were avoiding his eyes and like whispering about him in the halls. So really we're back to normal for Hogwarts is honestly what's going on.
True.
But he like is kind of like he just doesn't care because he's like, I'd rather just be talking to Hermione and Ron.
Yeah.
Because I just, again, watched someone die.
Yeah, he's like, I just am unfazed.
Not even watch someone die. You watch someone get murdered. I do think I need to make it clear.
Yeah, no.
Harry didn't just see someone like pass away gracefully.
Yeah, they don't. She doesn't say murdered. Or even killed,
she only
right?
She says it one time in this chapter, and it's when Dumbledore makes the announcement. But anytime we're referring to like what Harry saw, it's never referred to as murder. We find out that Molly offered to have Harry come to their house, to the Burrow over the summer for the entirety of the summer, and Dumbledore said no. And Harry wonders why, and Ron's like, she said Dumbledore has a good reason. And I have to wonder, is that just Molly saying Dumbledore just said he had a good reason? Or is it Dumbledore told Molly, well, see, Molly, there's this ancient protection that is over.
Did he go into the detail of it?
Right.
Yeah, does she
know? Is it the full tea?
We don't know.
I have no idea.
We probably won't ever know.
I'm going to say probably not because Dumbledore doesn't like to give his secrets.
Yeah, I'm going to go with that too. I don't think that as much as he
even
does.
Even the ones he probably should give.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he definitely trusts Molly, but yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're right. He just doesn't tell people secrets.
So if you remember the finals, their final exams were the day of the third task. And we know this because Harry didn't have to go to them, so he got to walk around the grounds with Molly.
Neither did 7th years that are graduating. The 7th years graduating school didn't have to take their final exams?
Yeah, so, well, Cedric didn't end up needing final exams, I guess, but... but they're still going to classes. So this is what I'm saying. There is a part where they're like, well, because there was no more Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher, classes were canceled for Defense Against the Dark Arts. And I was like, why would you have been going to classes anyway? Why are you still at school? Why is everyone still here?
Is Hogwarts the place? Why? They don't do anything there. What are they?
Here's how it works in American schools. And there's not a lot of things American schools do right. But here is one of them.
Yes.
You have finals. You have field day where you go out and you run around whatever. Field day. And then it's the end of school. That's how it works.
Yeah.
And they need to be having a field day. So they go to visit Hagrid. And I think this speech that Hagrid gives is very sweet. So I'd actually like to read it.
Yeah.
Let me open it real quick.
Good old Haggy.
There's this thing that I thought about that I'll read what Hagrid says, and then I'll talk about why I think it's like important. So, so they go to visit Hagrid. When he had made tea and offered around a plate of doughy biscuits, he leant back in his chair and surveyed Harry closely through his beetle black eyes. "You all right?" he said gruffly. "Yeah," said Harry. "No, you're not," said Hagrid. "Of course you're not, but you will be." And there's something about that where I think a lot of the time in the common understanding of emotions and how men aren't allowed to have them.
Yeah.
It's easy to write women or like portray women as the ones who have emotional connections and like an empathetic understanding of other people because it's so expected of women. So when you get passages like this in anything, be it books, movies, TV, whatever, and there's like a very hard masculine character, but is still able to like give warmth and empathy, it's so moving because it's so rarely done.
Yeah.
It is like so rare because toxic masculinity is terrible and ruins lives. But I just thought it was so important. And I was like, whew, I got very choked up by that.
I also think just saying something like that actually goes a very long way. Like being like, no, you're not. Of course you're not. Being able to hold space for that. But you will be eventually. Like being like, it's okay that you're not okay right now. How could you be? You know?
Right.
Yeah. Hagrid, we love you.
Ugh. What a good character. So then he reveals in the course of the conversation that him and Maxime have a special mission from Dumbledore over the summer, but he cannot talk about it. If I was a betting person, right, and I was in the room when Dumbledore gave a bunch of tasks to Fudge to do, I would think that the one that had to involve giants probably went to the two people that are half giants. But that's just me. I don't know.
It's so funny, though, because when I was a kid, I don't think I peeped that at all. I remember someone was like, oh, yeah, I think that they're going to go get the giants. And I was like, oh, it's just like so shocked. Wow.
I mean, I'm also saying this with the understanding that I know what happens in this book series.
No, but
so I do have a bit of an edge.
Too. I think it's very obvious that that's what's happening. Yeah.
But we are also, it is so different reading this book series chapter by chapter and really poring over it as opposed to just like reading it that first night after the midnight release and trying to get through it as quickly as possible. It's so different. Anyway, he ends this conversation with a fucking Scroot reference. And really, I have to say, if I never even see these letters again, SKRWEWT, I'm going to say we don't need those letters in the English language anymore. They're cut. They're out. No more.
You'll be Adam Noak then. Adam Eid Noak. Oh no,
yeah,
the E's would be gone too.
The E's are gone. Luckily, Adam is still intact.
Adam is fine. Adam is untouched.
Yeah. You could just be Anna.
Ayana.
Ayana. So they go to the end of term feast, which in every other book is called the end of term feast, until this book, where it's now suddenly called the leaving feast. Is it like that in your book?
Let me look at my book, The Leaving Feast. Yeah, that's weird. Why would you say that?
And it was capital L, capital F, like the leaving feast. And I was like, you've never called it this. This is brand new. This is brand new.
Yes, the leaving feast.
Girl, you can't. It is not the time to go changing the names of feasts.
End of year feast.
End of term.
End of term
Who
feast.
Cares? Okay. Anyway.
Come on now.
Moody is there.
The real Moody.
The real Moody. Sorry. True Moody.
True Mood. True Mood is there.
True Mood is there. Whoa, that's what True Mood looks like.
That's what True Mood looks like. Wait, and you have the photo. That's what True Mood.
And I have the photo.
True Mood looks like. Whoa.
Oh, it's this side. True Mood.
Can you say it again?
Karkaroff is conspicuously gone.
Oh, yeah. Dipped.
Gone.
Dipped
gone.
Out. Yeah.
And here's a spoiler alert for the rest of the series. We're never going to see him again.
You do hear about him once.
You hear about him, but he's never seen.
No. In and out.
So good for him. Yeah, what is he? Southern California? Because, girl, he's in and out. Okay.
In and out.
So Harry's searching the head table. He makes eye contact with Snape, and then he goes into this like long little bit where he's like, what's Snape's real deal? What is she about?
Yeah, give me the inside scoop on Severus Snape, please.
What's her gig? He's like, what did Dumbledore want him to do? Does he have to pretend to rejoin the Death Eaters? What is the deal?
That's it.
Nailed it, Harry. Yeah. Good job. It's really not that hard. And then he comes back and there's Dumbledore, blah, blah, blah. Dumbledore stands up and gives a speech. They first raise their glass to Cedric. And everyone stands up and raises their glass to Cedric. Right. Do you think, maybe this is a question for the movie episode, but do you think raising the glass is more symbolic, or do you think everybody pointing their wands into the air is more symbolic?
I don't think they do point there. I don't even think they point their wands in the air for Dumbledore.
Oh, that's for Cedric. Dumbledore. That's right. Not for
I
Cedric.
don't know. They might still do it though for Cedric in the film. I can't remember. The like cheers.
It's been like a couple of years since I've seen it. Yeah.
I feel like they're just standing there though. That's what I think, but I don't know that for sure. So I'm not going to say that too confidently because I'm not sure.
Everyone is raising their glass for Cedric. The Hufflepuff table looks not great. Cho is openly weeping, silently like bawling, which is very sad. And then Dumbledore is just like, Cedric Diggory was murdered by Lord Voldemort. And everyone's like, what did he say? Oh my God. No, he didn't. What? Who? I didn't even know that was his name because we always say he must not be named. I didn't even know his name.
Oh, that was it. That's who that is.
Oh, that's his name. Oh. Fully Colin Creevy is like
Muggleborn. Yeah, the Muggleborns. Yeah. Voldemort. Who was it? Oh.
And I hate to do this. I hate to be syntax queen.
Okay.
But Cedric Diggory was not murdered by Lord Voldemort. Yeah. Cedric Diggory was murdered by Peter Pettigrew.
That's true. That is true.
And Dumbledore in this speech is like, I think it's better to not lie. The misinformation. The false media.
Fake news, Dumbledore.
Fake news.
Excuse you.
Fake news. But at its heart, what he did say is correct. So
yeah,
very upsetting. Every face in Harry makes a note that every face after Dumbledore says this, everyone is staring at Dumbledore, like blown away by this information.
Shook.
Except for Draco, who's like whispering with Crabbe and Goyle. Now I have to pose the question that needs to be asked. Harry would only know that Draco is not facing Dumbledore if Harry himself is not facing Dumbledore. How dare you, Draco? I'm not going to make fun of Harry too hard. He just saw someone be murdered by Lord Voldemort, allegedly.
Oh, Harry.
It wouldn't hold up in court, I have to say. Okay, I want to read this paragraph. This is the other one.
Okay.
Every guest in this hall, said Dumbledore, and his eyes lingered upon the Durmstrang students, will be welcomed back here at any time should they wish to come. I say to you all once again, in the light of Lord Voldemort's return, we are only as strong as we are united and as weak as we are divided. Lord Voldemort's gift for spreading discord and enmity is very great. We can fight it only by showing an equally strong bond of friendship and trust. Differences of habit and language are nothing at all if our aims are identical and our hearts are open. It is my belief, and never have I so hoped that I am mistaken, that we are all facing dark and difficult times. Some of you in this hall have already suffered directly at the hands of Lord Voldemort. Many of your families have been torn asunder. Neville.
The bones.
A week ago, Oh, I thought you just like general skeletons. You know the decorations that come out every Halloween, just the bones.
The leaving dinner. What is it? The leaving feast. You know,
the leaving
bones.
feast. The bones. Oh,
the bones.
A week ago, a student was taken from our midst. Remember, Cedric, remember if the time should come when you have to make a choice between what is right and what is easy, remember what happened to a boy who was good and kind and brave because he strayed across the path of Lord Voldemort. Remember Cedric Diggory. A very moving speech by Albus Dumbledore. So far, I would say this is my favorite of his little moments of tokens of wisdom that he has.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Book.
It's a good one.
A very good one.
Dumbledore.
Dumbledore.
Well done.
And Joe, I would just like to give you a word of advice that you yourself wrote. You have to make a choice between what is right and what is easy.
Say that.
And what is right is to stop talking.
Please stop. We don't want any new work about our trans
except for Joe Rowling.
It's tone deaf.
It's tone deaf. So after this, Fleur comes up. The Beauxbatons carriage is leaving. And she's like, bye, I love you.
Kiss, kiss.
Kiss,
more kisses.
Hermione once again gets annoyed that Fleur's just saying goodbye. And then Crumb comes over.
Oh, yeah.
And he takes Hermione to the side to say goodbye privately. And then he leaves with the Durmstrang students as they wonder, like, how are you going to get back without Karkaroff? Surely he was captaining the boat. And he was like, no. No, Miss Girl was not captaining the boat. Miss Girl was in her office doing nothing.
You know what he should have been doing? Brushing his damn teeth.
I'd love to know how Karkaroff got this job. There's a
Great
Pottermore
question.
article that would make sense.
Yeah. Maybe we should look. Maybe there is one. I don't know.
Diving into the depths of Pottermore is always it's an endeavor that always ends up not going well for us.
Well, now it's like the wizarding world specifically too. I just I have never wanted to know more information about Karkaroff until this moment. So I've never looked. I have never thought, who I should search in the Harry Potter universe? Karkaroff. And I'm sure not a lot of other people.
It's more just interesting because obviously he was freed from
Right. So how did he get
but
this?
Then how did he become the headmaster of a school?
I mean, I guess maybe.
And there's only like 9 schools in the world.
Well, yeah, apparently. Well, if we're supposed to believe that this was just a major thing that happened like in the UK, maybe in another country, they weren't like concerned about his reputation as much. I really don't know.
Interesting.
Isn't he from? Didn't he go to Durmstrang though? Like that was his school too.
He must have.
He didn't go to Hogwarts. I don't know. Who knows?
We'll never know. Not us.
Not us.
But at the end of the interaction, Ron does ask Crumb for an autograph, and Hermione's like, Ron, and looks over at the horseless carriages.
Oh yeah, this is my one note.
The horseless. Yeah, and we're right, Ari. This is our one note for the book series. We've never had another note.
No, me.
Oh, you mean
this is my one note for this chapter. I was like, because I've been waiting for it. I knew it was coming, and I was like,
oh, we all knew. Everyone knows it's coming.
Mentions these carriages. He has already seen Cedric die at this point.
Fresh. It's very fresh. Couldn't be fresher.
Those thestrals are the most visible they have ever been in this moment to him. If this is what they are.
Right. He can see like the inside organs. That's how clear they are.
Yeah. Transparent. Yeah. I was like, girl, what okay. Come on. Huge oversight.
It's one of the oversights. And I'm shocked they've never just taken it out.
Right. Yeah, no, they do leave it in. Yeah. It's wild.
Because there's nothing else that happens that they would be able to work in. There's these new animals that Harry had never noticed before. Like there's no way to work a whole new section of this book in. But they could easily just not allude to it.
Yeah.
And then you don't have the question.
Yeah.
But they've kept it in. So Thestrals, we'll talk about you another day.
Yeah. That's all I have to say. He should have seen them.
Right. He should have seen them. They get on the train. They get on the Hogwarts Express. The famous wizarding way of travel, trains. And and Hermione's reading the Daily Prophet because famously she's a subscriber to print media, so God bless her.
Right.
And Harry's like very anxious because obviously he thinks there's probably an article about him saying he murdered Cedric or something absolutely insane. And Hermione's like, "Oh no, there was like a little bit of a thing a couple days ago about how you won, and that's it. It didn't mention Cedric. It didn't say anything. It wasn't a big deal."
That's so crazy. They didn't even mention Cedric.
Fudge is probably keeping the prophet quiet.
I know, but that's just like, if all of the kids go to Hogwarts, like, I don't understand why. It's just crazy to me that they don't even mention it.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah.
The poor Diggories.
And Hermione finally reveals the truth about Miss Rita Skeeter.
It literally like leaps out of her.
Yeah.
She has been waiting. Yeah. She has been waiting to tell. It was like on the tip of her tongue as soon as anyone mentioned.
Right. Because it was the day of the third task is when she figures it out. When the pieces connect for Miss Granger.
When she touched the wall or the window?
Well,
when she banged the window.
When she banged the window, but even before that, when she like went to go to the library, and then she came back to go have lunch, and Molly was there, and they were like, "What happened?" She was like, "Later."
Oh, okay, yeah. So
that was when she figured it out.
Seeing her in the hospital wing was like her final confirmation. Basically, she had already figured it out. Okay, got it.
Yeah. Draco, however, interrupts the festivities celebrating the fact that Rita Skeeter has been caught.
Don't you know what's good for you? Come on.
No one has a better sense of timing in this book series than Draco Malfoy, I have to say. For giving compliments.
For giving compliments. That's what I wasn't doing. Bitch, get out. Get out.
This is when we start to head into like Draco stops being a fun antagonist and being like a bad person.
Yeah.
So he like tries to make a joke about how like the first to go will be Mudbloods and Muggleborns.
Very on brand for like, you, Draco. Wow.
Really, I guess the first to go was Miss Cedric, but at the same moment, Hermione, Ron, and Harry all blast them all with like some hexes and jinxes. And then also around the corner in the hallway, Fred and George also blasted them with hexes and jinxes. So the boys are worse for wear. They're unconscious on the floor. They just kick him into the hallway and then close the door and are like, anyway, it gave him an exploding snap. Anybody?
A mood.
Perfect. And I have to imagine that this train ride from London or from Scotland to London is probably 6 hours based on the length of the country. Probably 4 to 6 hours.
If they are in like the Highlands, I mean, it takes like 4 hours to get to Edinburgh. So it has to be like 5 unless they're like right on the edge of Scotland. And I don't think that's where I have a feeling that's not where Hogwarts is.
Yeah.
We're talking
so at the very least, it's 4 hours. And this seems pretty early on in the train situation. And when they leave, they have to step over their unconscious bodies. So I do love the fact that like they're unconscious for multiple train riders.
Yeah. Just completely knocked out.
Yeah.
Or they're like frozen and just like can't fully come to. Yeah.
Immobilis.
Yeah.
So while they're playing this game of Exploding Snap, Harry finally has to have the truth because he remembers the thing that every reader of this book has forgotten, which is who were Fred and George blackmailing.
Oh, and why? Everyone needs to know.
The name on everyone's lips has gotta be blackmail.
Ludo.
Ludo. I'm just imagining his face, but like the Roxy Hart blonde wig.
I'm gonna be a celebrity.
So they were like, oh, that thing. Well, basically what happened was we bet Ludo that the exact thing that happened in the Quidditch World Cup would happen. And then he paid us in leprechaun gold. And then we wrote him a letter to be like, you mistakenly paid us in leprechaun gold. Obviously, you meant to pay us hundreds of galleons in real gold.
Right.
And he never responded. So then they started cornering him. And then they found out from Lee Jordan that Lee Jordan's dad was owed money by Ludo Bagman. And that also Ludo Bagman was in debt to goblins. And so he had bet the goblins that Harry Potter was going to win the Triwizard Tournament outright. But because technically Harry and Cedric tied, he didn't win outright. So he fled after the third task. And there it is. There's the big reveal.
And that's why he was helping him. That's why he was helping Harry.
That's why he was helping Harry. And it's just a real of all the I would have rather ended with the Rita Skeeter reveal. Because that's a more interesting end. Because that one is just so underbaked. And then the like reveal is like not interesting in any way. And like doesn't ever really come back. That it's like, okay.
I also just like, I mean, I understand it's fun.
Right?
I understand it's fun as a writer to have not only one red herring, but two red herrings, only to then reveal something else completely different was going on the whole time. So I understand like wanting to explain why Ludo was helping Harry. I just don't like that it happened in the final chapter.
Yeah, I just don't think it adds anything to the book. And we're fine. This is really, I don't really want to say this because there is like a question of who is the Half-Blood Prince in the next book. But every book following this, there's not really a
whodunit moment.
It's not a mystery. It now is like a battle becomes a thing against Voldemort. He's like the big bad that they have to defeat.
Yeah.
So this is like her final last hurrah. She gets to do a red herrings one last time.
Yeah.
And whatever. Fine.
Yeah. I mean,
there's what I feel.
Yeah. No, your feelings are valid. I know what you mean. I feel like there could have been a chance maybe where they weren't on the train, but they were in like the common room and they were talking. Like just a little bit sooner. And then they all went down to the end of term feast. You know, like something like that. So it's still, and because I agree with you that I kind of like it. I like the idea of it more ending with like the sentiment of what Dumbledore said rather than this, where it's just like, oh yeah, and Rita did this and Ludo did that. And Yeah, the end. So yeah.
Anyway, so Fred and George have lost all their savings. All of their savings are gone. They have nothing. They're destitute.
Yeah, they
broke.
gave up trying to get the money from him.
Mm-hmm. And the train comes back to King's Cross. And everybody's departing the train. And Harry gets Fred and George alone privately and gives them the gold. And says, I really want you to have this. I really don't want it. I'm going to chuck it down the drain if you don't take it. So you have to take it. And they're like, but it's like 1,000 galleons. And he's like, yeah, I'm aware of how much it is.
Take it.
I've definitely counted it, obviously. I love counting my money. Just kidding.
Scrooge McDuck.
He already took a bath in it.
Yeah.
But yeah, he gives them the gold so that they can start their joke shop. That's that.
He invested. He's their first investor.
Right. He's a producer.
Yeah. Exactly.
They get off the train. He sees Uncle Vernon. Molly's standing by Uncle Vernon. She gives him a hug and says, maybe you can come at the end of the summer to the Burrow. Ron gives him a clap on the back. And Hermione, and I don't know why she wrote it this way, because it seems like, wow. Hermione gives Harry, for the first time she's ever done this, she gave him a kiss on the cheek.
Yeah.
And I don't know why she wrote it. She wrote it specifically to like be like,
she's never done. Yeah,
Hermione has never done this before.
Yeah, which made it weird.
I was like, yeah.
Why did you need to say that?
the way it's written, you're like, oh, so then the next book they're gonna maybe hook up, or like that's gonna be the new thing. But no, it
was
doesn't.
so weird. I was like, what? What are we doing?
Okay. So Hermione kisses him goodbye, and then Harry realizes as he goes off with Uncle Vernon that there's no use worrying, that what's gonna happen is going to happen, just like Hagrid said. And that is the end of the book.
What'll come? Wait, what's coming will come, and we'll face it when it does.
Right.
Yeah.
We
did it!
We did it!
I mean, it's like, I don't know. This chapter wasn't like, I feel like the previous chapters were more of the ones where it's like, you know, the meat of everything. So this is kind of just like wrapping it up, but it feels good to be
finishing the hat.
I mean, we're more than halfway through the series now.
Officially, yeah.
Yeah, 5, 6, 7. So,
although I don't know if chapter-wise if we are.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, I haven't thought about chapter-wise.
I'd have to count.
I don't know the total amount of
right now.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the total.
199 chapters in total.
Oh, okay.
Including the epilogue.
Well,
the godforsaken epilogue that we're going to have to talk about.
199. Okay, but then we're probably not then. I don't know how many chapters in. Well, maybe. I don't know. We could be at like 80.
We might be like exactly at the halfway point.
Mm-hmm. Or right around there. Well, thank you so much, Adam.
That's it.
Thank you.
That's the book.
That's it. That's the book. All right. Well, that wraps up this book. In 2 weeks, we'll be watching and discussing Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, directed by Mike Newell. Newell, I believe. You can find the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or wherever you find your podcasts, as well as video versions on the Ampliverse YouTube channel and Spotify. As always, don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe so that we can get a perfect Newt score. 5 stars only. Newt. 5 stars only, or else you'll be cursed in a hallway of a train and have to lie there unconscious for the next
tentacles on your face.
5 hours.
Yeah.
And don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at HBAnxious, or YouTube and TikTok at The Ampliverse. We are hosted on Anchor and recorded on Zencaster, so thank you to both of them. And we are a proud member of The Ampliverse. Check them out at theampliverse.com. Thank you, Adam.
Smash that subscribe button.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, Ari.
It was just us this book. Just the two of us. Just the two of us.
We can make it if we try.
We didn't know. We didn't know if we'd make it, but we did.
There were never not supposed to stay.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Well, until next time. No, I shouldn't do that. It's my favorite. But wait, what did we just say? As always. That's what it is. I can't even remember. And as always, Knox.
Knox.